Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the patch notes breakdown that we're doing here on the channel. I'm Hephaesterhoff. Today is the 23rd of 2020 in June. Patch notes just came out this morning. I'm going to go ahead and read through them real quick. Alrighty, you can stop spamming us now because competitive mode goes live this patch. Most obvious change is that our top rank is now Radiant, and we've added a surrender option which will come in handy when you start losing to Radiant players. Is this ranked only? I hope this is not ranked only, because the AFK problem can be addressed with a surrender option and some good report responses. Tagging, the slowing effect you feel when hit by bullets has been adjusted in part to up your chances of escape if you're near cover. We can't help you much if you're dancing in the open. Sure, that makes sense. Lots of love has gone into improving the menu UI. Might be jarring at first, but we believe it's for the better. It's worth studying the tweaked areas for all maps, which should relax the desire to exhaust abilities at certain locations. Huh, okay, so they did bunch of map updates, updated tagging, and looks like we got some agent updates as well. Viper. Toxic screen now burns through walls, placing emitters at all valid locations over its length. Viper toxic screen is a potentially strong vision slicing tool, but its access was terrible, making it only useful in a few spots on most maps. This should allow Viper to cut up sites, maps, and other unique areas to either fake or help take ground. So this just kind of sounds like a quality of life buff. I hope this isn't a silent nerf where they're making it where you can't get Viper wall to be going as far as it does. I guess we'll have to see with some play. Snakebite, which is sort of like see a little acid pool. Taking damage will make a player fragile for a short time. Fragile is a debuff that doubles damage taken. Ooh. Note the total damage is unchanged. Okay, so this makes sense. They lowered the amount of damage. So it's going to do the same damage, but if they take outside sources of damage as well, that outside source is now doubled. With Viper applying decay on her smokes, but only providing moderate chip damage on her area damage skill, pushing through it was hard to punish. Viper's team has a big advantage, even if they fire on pushing enemies. Poison Orb. Activation cooldown increased 5 to 6 seconds. Okay, so that's just how long it takes to be able to put her orb back up, her smoke ball. Makes sense. Jet. Bladestorm now refreshes when used to kill Phoenix during Run It Back. Run It Back is Phoenix's ult, so this is just a quality of life buff for Jet. That makes sense. Reyna. Oh, this is the same thing. Yeah, Reyna and Jet just got quality of life buffs if they're killing Phoenix in his ult, which that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense, but those are both silent nerfs to Phoenix in a very, very small way. Fixing an issue where Spycam blocked spike defusal. I didn't even know about that. That's hilarious, though. Fixing an issue where players could place a cyber cage on a trap wire. Okay, I didn't know about this either, but that just seems like something that would have been cool to do. Added prevention for Spycam going through teleporter doors on bind, placed on frame outside the door. Okay, so that's just another quality of life buff here. Smoke tuning. Adjusted tuning around screen effects when exiting and entering smokes. Decreased blind fall-off value and decreased nearsightedness intensity. The previous tuning for smokes made it too far punishing for players to push through and take a calculated risk, really encouraging them to be used as a powerful defensive stall tool. Pushing through a smoke will still be risky, just more reasonable. Blind fall-off value. So that means that you can see quicker. You can see quicker, you can see a little bit better. And there's just outside of the screen effects. Okay, so this is just slight tuning for smokes. Weapon updates. Only the Bucky. Let's just read this real quick. Okay, so they want to decrease the run accuracy while increasing the walk and stationary accuracy. Increasing extra crouch walking and more probably. Sure. Okay. So crouch walking is going to be a little bit less accurate. Running is going to be a little bit less accurate. But standing still or just regular walking, your accuracy is going to be really good. Actually, you can see the buff here. Here. And I believe this is the spread. So the bigger the amount, the less accurate. So its spread is 4.1 units across. Its run accuracy, its spread is not going to be 6.4 units, I believe. For the right click, notably. So Bucky's right click is weird. I'm going to be doing a gun breakdown video, But normal shotgun shot is Bucky's left click. You know, there's a spread, there's a bunch of beads that shoot out. Bucky's right click, what happens is you shoot a slug out of your shotgun, which is a all of the beads still clumped together, and then after a certain amount of meters, then that clump or that slug expands and shoots out like a regular shotgun bolt. So basically adds, you know, somewhere between 5 and 10 meters of distance in front of where you right click shoot to give you a little bit more reach with the shot. It still does like a normal shotgun blast once the slug detonates, but it adds like 5 or 10 meters onto a regular shotgun blast. And I'll dive into that more when I break down the Bucky. Competitive mode update, they're going to be adding competitive. The highest one is called Radiant instead of Valorant, which makes sense. Expanded skill disparity range for playing with friends and rank placements. That's just, if you're really good and your friend is terrible, you guys can probably still play together. Map updates. Haven. Oh, they got screenshots here. Sweet. Garage door. Entrance to C-Long on attacker side. Cover in A lobby. Restructure to open up the space, which allows for additional sightlines and traversal options. C-Link, A-Link. Entrance to A sewer and the bottom of A sewer. Okay, so let's get into these. So this is B garage from defender's side. Boxes are still here. They added this, I assume, to make it so that you can't hug this corner. This is attacker side on C. This is C long here. These were not here before, so they probably are just adding these to make it so that holding angles are a little bit different, maybe less punishing and or more punishing depending on what side you're on. A short, or no, this is A. If you go this way down here, it goes into A long. This way down here goes into A short. This is attacker side spawn right here. So these boxes didn't used to be there, I don't believe. So these are new. And this used to be a full tall box. So these little side ones got added and they cut this in half. So this just opens up a lot more angles. That's pretty cool. I like that change. These are okay. You know, these are just like trying to cut off and make different angles. This is making this room completely different in the way it functions. These boxes got added here, probably just to keep people out of this angle, because, you know, having to check left and right coming out of B is a little frustrating. Cut off this angle as well. There's going to be characters that can stand on that, which is going to be an interesting outplay potential. And then, ooh, okay, so they added this pipe here, so you can't hold this angle anymore, I assume. Or you'd have to hold it here. And I believe this box was already there. So yeah, it's just really this pipe. So that you... It looks like what they're doing is they're trying to make it so that you don't have to double check all of your corners all the time. Which is cool, especially for newer players. Alright, on Ascent. Defender spawn entrance. Attacker side A main. Including a self boost to gain an additional angle to peek A main as an attacker, and then garden entrance. Okay, so this one here, they added these boxes, which is right when you walk out of spawn from defender side. They added this box here, so you have to hold it here. Ooh, this is really good. So there used to be nothing here. And now, if a character can traverse up onto this brown box, they can look down onto A main. Right over here is where the entrance into A is. You kind of zip like that through. Door would be right on the other side of this. The little garage door thing that you shut. This is a very good change. This is really cool. Because this choke point is so easy to just cut off if you don't have just a jet or an omen that can get up here. You just spray down this angle as a defender. And then last one is... So, okay, this is flip-flopped. This is right on the other side of this. Right here is where the door is, and right here is where the door is. The same door, so they're on opposite sides of the two coins. If you go this way from this angle, you're going to be going onto Catwalk in Ascent, and then if you go back this way, you're going to Spawn or into A Heaven. And so they added boxes here to cut off this angle, which makes sense because holding this angle looking down Catwalk, if you've secured the back, was really easy to hold. And then bind bath entrance from A, or just A bath entrance, and then B teleporter exit and B window entrance. So this is baths on bind. This is attacker side here. Alt point spawns right where my mouse is. If you go this way, you go onto the point. So I think they added these rugs here, is what it looks like. these rugs so that you can't hold this angle quite as well, which makes sense because it seems like the theme of what they're trying to do is make it so that when you're approaching an angle, you know, if you're coming in where my mouse is, you don't have to check right and left, you know, from the approaching angle. You can just check one because they're likely to be sitting here since they can't duck in the corner now. So you can approach from this flank, check right, and then rotate over and check your left. Oh, and it's added curvature here, so that instead of being flat like this was, it curves. This is cool, too, because it means you can hug this a little bit more and not just be exposed the entire time to both sides. Split defender spawn. Okay, so they just added this. Not a rebar. Big construction metal piece. Beam. Beam, that's what I'm looking for. Big metal beam. So you can't quite hug this corner. Again, just making it so that you have to double check random corners when you're doing rotations. Which it removes a little bit of outplayability on a lot of these maps, but it makes it a lot easier to understand. HUD and UI. This is just stuff you'll see in game when you start doing it. Everything that I've noticed so far is just the menu. The menu UI is a little different. I haven't noticed any HUD changes yet. Battle Pass. Added Battle Pass text box in the nav to make it easier to find. Added small progress bar below text that shows progress for current level of the pass. Hovering Battle Pass in the nav shows a peek flyout of upcoming pass rewards. Clicking either goes to a new Battle Pass section. Okay. Contract and agent section. Oh, this is just UI updates as well. Okay. Early surrender options been added. That's big. We'll look at that in a second. Okay, well, yeah, we'll get it now. Early surrender option. Opt to surrender. And 10.2. Call an early surrender vote by typing /FF, forfeit, concede, or surrender. All present players on the surrendering team to vote yes. So it has to be unanimous. Yes, no, or F5 and F6 to vote. Once per half, you can call for a vote. And then early surrender votes cannot be called before reaching round 8. This is good. This sounds good so far. I don't hear any bad thing coming out of this. We needed a surrender option really bad because of how bad the AFK problem is, and it's just not being fixed. Vote is called. Starts the next round. Okay. For every round. Surrendering team will get loss credit for every round necessary to bring them up to 13 rounds. Okay. All players permanently mute text from enemy players. Ooh. It's a little random thing added here down at the bottom. Quality of life. All this stuff about surrendering. Also, you can permanently mute text from enemy players, which is good because some people are absolutely terrible. Update the tagging, which is the slow effect. Effect of tagging, a movement speed reduced. Reduction is 80 to 70. Okay. And then wall penetration is 35 to 25. Increased time it takes to reach desired slow amount when tagged by 100%. So you get slowed faster, but you get slowed less, which makes sense. With better positioning. Oh, you'll more gradually. Oh, increased. Okay, I misread that. You slow down slower. It takes more time to slow you down, but you slow down less. Okay. Mode updates. Speed. Ooh. Reyna. Killing bots. Now spawn souls. Jet. Professor's Blade Storm. This is good. And this is just quality of life stuff. Performance updates and bug fixes. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, known issues. I'll get to that in a second. Let's look at some Spike Rush updates. New orb type, Tracer Orb. Team-wide buff that grants 2 times wall penetration and reveals enemies for 0.75 seconds when they are hit. Duration entire round. That's really cool. That doesn't seem that great. It doesn't seem... It's, you know, it's not bad at all. All the orbs are good. Well, you know. Team-wide buff. 2 times wall penetration. Reveals enemies per... That's okay. That's pretty good. It's really just going to help you secure kills more than anything, is what I feel like. You're going to have to get the jump on someone. If you're getting fired on first, this isn't going to do anything for you. Speed boost changed to combat stim. Ooh. Movement speed and durations unchanged. Reload time decreased 30. Weapon draw time decreased. Jump force increased. Okay. Movement speed and durations unchanged. So it's just all this stuff is getting added, is what it looks like. It's going to be the same speed boost is what it looks like. So it's like it's just getting more buffs to you. That's really cool. Which is good because speed boost was terribly underwhelming anyways. Plague Orb now shares a pool of Paranoia Orb. Okay. 1 plague orb. Oh, so not only cuts their health in half. Health reduction's only 50. Yeah, so it's only going to cut their health in half. And you can't have paranoia and plague. I mean, that was a disgusting combo, but I don't know if they should share a pool. That's okay. Deception now shares a pool with plague orb, so is it plague, paranoia, and deception? So it sounds like it's if paranoia gets chosen, plague cannot get chosen, therefore deception is also still in the running. But if plague gets chosen, neither paranoia nor deception will spawn or be in the rotation for orbs that will spawn. Okay. And then just some ease of access. Nerfs to the duration. See more of your screen. All right, that makes sense. All right, performance updates, bug fixes. Look at known issues. Competitive match overtime on this patch will be resolved using sudden death, which we know is intrinsically unfair. We're actively working on replacing this with a more fair solution. That is because typically one side on map can be weighted towards winning than the other. Haven, for example, has a higher attacker win rate because of just the ability to have so many points you'd have to spread your opponent out on. We've discovered issues in our routing software causing some players in Sweden to be incorrectly placed on our Istanbul game servers, and this is likely causing a small number of players elsewhere to also end up on incorrect game servers. The fix is deployed to our Stockholm network gear, and we're deploying the fix globally this week. This is one of the most random things I've ever heard, but I'm very glad that they're fixing that for a lot of the players, both in Istanbul and Sweden, because if you got somebody from Sweden on your team in Istanbul, that means that they're probably don't have as secure of a connection, so it was people benefiting and losing on both sides. Sovereign Ghost Scanner now fixed and unlockable. Was playing unsilenced audio in third person, so it was totally pay to lose. We didn't want any of you to experience that. Huh. That's funny. I'm glad they fixed that, though. Glad that that skin is back online. Alright, yeah, this is a really good patch. A lot of small changes, especially big changes to the maps. Pretty small changes to the agents. You know, it was basically just a bug fix and some small nerfs. Phoenix got small nerfs from, Jet and Reyna getting their things fixed. How they pretty much should work. Big Viper changes. You don't see her a whole lot, or at least I don't. But very good Viper changes, assuming that, this doesn't ruin her wall for her. A lot of people use the fact that it's not deploying the emitters for just a set amount length to have their wall go significantly further than it should. And I hope that still is in play, because that's one of the small. Okay, so they're talking about its access was terrible, is what they're talking about right here, which is why they decided to make this change. Notably, though, if you knew where to place Viper Alt so that it would extend the range past its intended length, that's just raising the skill ceiling to be significantly higher than just your average player. And I think that's a really good thing, that they should look for people to know how to do outplay potential like that. An example is from attacker side spawn on Bind. Or no, not Bind. Split, sorry. Attacker side on Split, if you're going B, which is its heaven is the wooden building that you're in. It's a wood lobby that looks down on B. Garage leads right into it on Split. As Viper, you can, looking up at one of the buildings, actually use your wall to go over the garage building and completely cut off a line of sight into B, so that people have to be on the left, that back corner that B has. They can't be just gunning you down from heaven, because it cuts off both entrances. And that's something that's the outplay potential that I think is really good for Viper to have in her kit, and I hope that's not being removed. I hope that they're just making it easier to have the wall lay down regularly when you're not trying to do anything fancy like that. I hope that's what that change means. If they're removing the ability for it to like sort of bend over rooms and stuff, then it's going to cut off a lot of Viper's outplay potential, and they're going to have to look into maybe utilizing this fragile debuff a little bit more, because she's also getting a nerf here on her poison orb. So it could be in a way they're nerfing poison orb, they're nerfing toxic strain if the changes are what I hope they're not, and then they're giving this snake bite a slight debuff if you're shooting people on your acid, which people are already avoiding. So this patch could be Viper nerfs, two Viper nerf, a Viper change, and then other changes for other characters. Or, and I don't think Viper really needs nerf right now. I think she's in a pretty good place. Or this could be quality of life here, nerf here, adjustment here. In which case, I think that would be a significantly better direction for them to be going. But yeah, that's patch 1.02. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and break down the I'm going to be looking at breaking down the guns and breaking down their efficiency based on how much they're worth. Small things like the Bucky right-click shot where it's the extended range. A bunch of stuff like that is going to be the upcoming project. Hope you guys tune in for that as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great day.